All right. Once again, thank you all for coming today. We are in the last workshop of the Careers in Psych series, which is leveling up with LinkedIn. And I'm basically going to take you through why and how to create your professional network using LinkedIn. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to chime in, use the chat feature, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. So my name is Alexa Moore. I'm a part of the Career Readiness and Job Placement team. If you've attended some of the other workshops that we've hosted in this series, you would have seen my colleague Derek supported in one of those workshops, and he is our career resource aide. And then there's my colleague Brittany Sneed, who is the job placement coordinator for Society and Education. I'm sorry, I'm the job placement coordinator for Society and Education. She's the job placement coordinator for Science, Technology, and Health. And then I'm Alexa Moore, job placement coordinator for Society and Education. And we are currently looking for in the process of hiring 2 new job placement coordinators to complete our team for the meta majors at Skyline College, which would be business entrepreneurship and management and arts, language, and communication. So ideally, you'll be working with me if you need support, if you are in the Society and Education meta major or a psychology student. And if you're in the future ever looking for support with resume, job searching, interviewing skills, networking, etc., anything career related, I would be happy to connect with you and set up a one-on-one appointment. And I will provide more information towards the end on how you can contact our office. So when you think of social media, out of curiosity, what comes to your mind? And you guys can feel free to use the chat or you can shout it out. Anybody want to share what first comes to your mind when you think of social media?
Facebook.
Facebook, definitely. Thank you, Greg. Anyone else have something different come to mind besides Facebook? Nope. Well, I think about like Instagram, something I think that's really popular amongst individuals right now too is like TikTok. I don't have a TikTok myself, but using Facebook, sometimes I come across TikTok videos. So I think that's kind of funny that a lot of them are intertwined as well. And so this was just kind of to give you an idea of all the different social media that we know is out there and available. These are some of the most popular ones that we find to be used by a lot of people. One of the ones that we're going to focus on today is obviously what's in the title, LinkedIn. We're going to be looking at the benefits and how to really navigate LinkedIn to better promote yourself in the workforce and to really just brand yourself out there in the way that you want to be seen in your career and in your development. So I did have a Mentimeter here. Oh, cool. I see some people in the chat. So Twitter, Instagram, agreed, Facebook or Twitter. Thank you for sharing, Celia and Brianna. I did have a Mentimeter, but instead of doing the Mentimeter, it would just be great again if you could just maybe shout out or drop in the chat so then you guys don't have to do an extra step why you think it's important to network. So before we kind of talk more about LinkedIn, the tool itself, I kind of want to step back a little bit and talk a little bit more about networking and what you all know about networking, whether it's in a digital setting or an in-person setting. What are some reasons that you think you would benefit off networking? Anybody? Well, here's another question. why did you come to learn about LinkedIn today? And it's okay if you're here for extra credit for the Careers in Psych series too, because I'm all cool with that too. You know, share what brought you here today to the Level Up with LinkedIn, or even what might sound appealing, or might you be interested in learning about LinkedIn and networking? I don't have a LinkedIn, plus extra credit is a plus. Right, right. I agree. And I appreciate your professors throwing that extra credit out there too. Thanks, Brianna, for your honesty. If you're seeking any sort of job opportunity, seems like social media sites are the way to go. Thank you, Celia. All right, I appreciate you guys sharing. You know, feel free to chime in anytime, like I mentioned. So I'm gonna dive into like some of the top, there's many reasons you're gonna network, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about the top 5 reasons we have found that networking can really benefit a student or someone who is, you know, entering the workforce, or even in the workforce and wanting to shift careers potentially. Um, Thank you, Amber, for sharing too. Appreciate your honesty. And I hope that you guys do find something valuable from this presentation, and or even the supports that our office offers. You know, if you are looking for any additional like work experience, career related type services, we also support in building LinkedIn profiles and things like that to help you. So feel free to reach out to us and I'll get that information. But some reasons that you would want to network are listed up here: to create connections for future job opportunities. So learning and meeting different people and learning about their careers or their industries are a great way to find out if there are openings within their company, or if that is something that you're interested in doing. And then maybe down the line, you hear about job opportunities and things like that. So it really just knowing people and getting out there and knowing the industries and the companies that are out there can really start to build connections for yourself. You can land an internship or a job through networking. Again, whether you're doing this in person or you're doing it in a digital space, I feel like networking can really happen almost anywhere, given that, you know, we hit a pandemic and a lot of time recently we were inside. So I feel like it's happened a lot more digitally than how it used to happen, a lot more in openings and gatherings and things like that for political events or career fairs, and just any type of opportunity to gather amongst different individuals and folks to just get to know who they were, come across somebody, even in the grocery store, you know, can become a networking opportunity. So you can learn about different careers and roles, as I mentioned, as you're making these connections that can potentially lead to a future opportunity somewhere with someone in that company. And by networking and creating connections with people, you can actually gain more opportunities when you are searching and applying for jobs or internships as well. So when you're utilizing the job searching engine that's also on LinkedIn, which we'll talk more about the different services that LinkedIn can offer, you'll start to see that job searching is one of those, and how it can really just build your opportunity again, because it can show you so much about a company and about a job, and even some of the individuals that are working there right now, right? And then you build a community of support. So it's important to build a community around you of people who are supporting you and who can support you throughout your career. It's important because these connections that you're making with people really just again open and give you more opportunity to create connections with other people. So it doesn't even really matter if you just start off really in your close circle, like your classmates or maybe your colleagues at work or your family members, maybe people you meet through volunteering. It's just really great that you're building this, whether it's, you know, starting very small, but as you'll see, you might start meeting people through other people and your connections will start to grow. And lastly, a lot of times people use networking to connect to mentors, and mentors could be either academic mentor or workforce, like in the career, your development, or all the way around. I've heard of people who have mentors just in general throughout their lives, or some who were specifically there like while they were in grad school for them or for whatever reason. But mentors can be really helpful, not only, you know, psychologically, I think too, because it's like an extra and additional support, and usually a mentor is someone you can turn to and get advice and support can really help you along the way throughout your educational or your career journey. So some places that you can network would be at career fairs, like I mentioned, industry events and conferences, Chamber of Commerce events. So Chamber of Commerce events usually are known as a board of trade. So they're often really made up of business owners that share local interests, and can also be in an international scope. I know that San Bruno has one, and they do post that information to the public. So like if you were interested in joining or knowing more about it, and you can find them on LinkedIn. You can find a lot of Chamber of Commerce's on LinkedIn as well. College employer panel discussions. So oftentimes at Skyline College, our team, I should say, hosts a lot of different events where we have different people come. And I know many of the different departments on Skyline also do certain events where they have individuals come to speak on a panel or to do a guest speaker, which can also create a networking opportunity for you to meet other individuals at Skyline attending the event, or even the members on the panel or the people participating on the panel. Political campaigns are really a great way to network as well, depending on, again, what industry you're looking to be. But a lot of times you can find a lot of different people, sometimes sharing the same interests at these type of events. These are just some places that you can meet. I honestly believe too, like I said, networking can happen anywhere, even in a grocery store. It can happen shopping. I mean, it can happen at a family barbecue. So these are just some events where you can intentionally go to network, where you can prepare to network, thinking about an elevator speech. If you haven't heard about that, like how would you introduce yourself? Like what's your goal? What's your motive? Are you looking for an internship? Are you looking for a job? The type of people you're connecting to in the industry. So these are all things that you would really strategically think about if attending one of these type of events, right? And maybe just for the experience. And community service is another place that you can also begin to network with different individuals. Here's a tip at a career fair. If you do join a career fair, you are going to want to ask people the following questions to find more about their particular company or the employer themselves. So you'll be asking things like, what qualities and backgrounds are you looking for in employees? What is the application process for your company? And these are just some questions you could ask to just kind of understand a little bit more as you're networking, to really see like, do I want to then further ask for either this person's business card or an application, or maybe connect with them on LinkedIn. So now we're going to watch a quick video, and I'm just going to make sure really quickly that I share my sound so you all can hear. And this is building your professional network. 1 second, let me turn up the volume.
Is one of the most empowering things that you can do. A strong professional network can help to provide insight and advice, knowledge and the exchange of ideas, collaboration opportunities, access to resources, and often it will open the door to job opportunities. It also provides you with a great opportunity to help others. According to the 2017 Global Talent Trends, 2 of the most popular ways that companies find new hires are through employee referrals and social professional networks. I want to repeat that. 2 of the most popular ways that companies find new hires are through employee referrals and social professional networks. Many companies are using these 2 powerful resources when trying to find new hires. That is, candidates recommended by their own employees, and through social professional networks where they already have familiarity with the candidate. Having a strong professional network has always been important, but in the digital age, it is arguably more important, and it's easier than ever to build a strong professional network. Sites like LinkedIn and Twitter as well as others, allow you to connect and collaborate with like-minded people who work in your industry, share your passion and goals, and have the potential to introduce you to job opportunities. If you don't already have a strong professional network, I highly suggest that you start building one. The following are some recommendations on how to start building a professional network. Now, when I say building a professional network, I don't mean that you should start connecting with anyone and everyone that you can. In fact, this would likely be a bad move. You want to develop a selective group of connections that you can maintain communication with. Consider connecting with the following 3 types of people to build your network: the advocate, the strategic in, and the subject matter expert. Let's take a look at each of these. The advocate. This is usually somebody that you know on a personal level. They can act as a trusted sounding board for advice and ideas. And they're usually a friend, a classmate, or a family member. Next is the strategic in, someone who's well-connected. Someone who demonstrates a willingness to make connections on your behalf, meaning that it's usually someone you know on a professional level. And it's usually someone like a professor, an internship advisor, a former boss, or perhaps a fellow alumni. And finally, there's the subject matter expert, someone who offers superior insight on a specific industry. They can give an unbiased opinion, and it's usually people in a similar industry with a similar job or similar goals. Now, I want to emphasize something that's extremely important. When creating a professional network, it isn't all about you. If you want to nurture a successful professional network, it must be built on win-win relationships. Be willing to give as much as you get. Share advice, share articles, provide feedback, and interact with your professional network. Use a site like LinkedIn to search for people you know and connect with them. Search for people who have job titles that you aspire to have and connect with them. You'll find that if you take the time to build and nurture a strong professional network, you'll be more informed and updated than you've ever been before. And my guess is that over time, you'll see more and more opportunities coming your way. One of the greatest benefits of LinkedIn.
All right, thank you. Let me get back to our screen. Okay, so that was just a quick video showing you a little bit more about why you would want to utilize LinkedIn to build your professional network. Oops. It's backwards. So LinkedIn is not the only way you can build your professional network or get online and meet individuals. There's a lot of different tools out there. Just like we've seen, there's a lot of different social media outlets out there. The one thing that's unique about LinkedIn, I would say, is more focused on your career, right? And what you're doing in your career and in your workforce, and in maybe, you know, if you're doing community service or projects and things that you're a part of that, you know, you're really marketing and branding yourself. Like perhaps if you have a business and you're, you know, marketing that, or just even yourself, right, as who you are and how you want individuals to see you. So all online platforms are a really great way to build connections. It all depends on what type of connection you're trying to make. Excuse me. Here's a list of some that you could use. Of course, LinkedIn. That's what we're here talking about today. Meetup.com. Meetup.com is a social networking site as well, where you can meet others that are local to you, and you can actually focus on different interests. So like maybe there's a particular, maybe you're really into sci-fi books or novels or movies and things like that. There's different categories on there, so you can actually meet with people online. And then if you want to meet in person, you can, but you don't have to. I mean, it's an option there for you. Like you could put in your zip code and see what type of clubs and things are around if that was something you were interested in doing. Industry association sites. Industry association sites are typically places where you can look for work, you can look for professional development opportunities, industry knowledge, like specific to an industry. I don't know, like I know the psychology association. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know psychology does have a lot of different association organizations that you can join, and like some of the things are free that you can read about, like what's trending in psych, what's happening in the industry or in the field. And then some of them you do have to have membership with. My particular background is more in early childhood. Like we have organizations as well, but almost every industry is going to have specific association sites that are related to that industry in that field. And then another one is social media sites. There's a bunch of social media sites we talked about in the beginning, well, that I showed you in the beginning. And, you know, some of you are familiar with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Those are all ways that you can also connect with individuals. And those, I like to look at them as more personal. So like I always advise individuals, don't use LinkedIn for personal posts and sharing and things like that, because that's what your Facebook is for and your Instagram. Those are for your personal relationships with individuals. Unless you have like a business site, because I know like Facebook has those too, and Instagram, where you can create a business profile. So you can I always just recommend separating the two, your personal from your professional. Whether you're using Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, there's purpose for all of these social media sites, and just keeping that in mind when you're using it and how you're utilizing them. So I'm going to drop in the chat a link that's going to just give you a couple of resources that I have for individuals interested in networking. It has our just-in-time resource guide for networking, as you can see here. And then it has a couple worksheets in there that can help you learn a little bit more about networking, building your brand. You'll also see some worksheets in there about LinkedIn and how to start, you know, creating a profile. So just a couple resources for you to have. I've dropped that in the chat for you all. There we go. So now we're going to just focus about talking about LinkedIn. Okay, so we're going to dive right into LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is the largest business-oriented networking website specifically towards professionals. That is the purpose of LinkedIn. It has over 500 million members in over 200 countries. It's also international, right? A professionally written LinkedIn profile allows you to create an online presence in a professional brand, which can help you open different doors to opportunities and networks, which is something we talked about, how to utilize network can expand your opportunities, and that you may have not been aware about, you might have not known about these opportunities or these networks or these industries. Have you had not had a LinkedIn, or sometimes you do have it, do know about them, but you can connect even more now that you see that they're also on social media sites. I mean, there's so much information on LinkedIn about different companies and organizations and industries. You can get involved in different forums. You can join groups and meet like-minded people. It's not just a job search engine, which sometimes people are thinking that that's what LinkedIn is, similar to like Indeed or Monster. It does have some features of that, but it just goes above and beyond, because you can literally put your professional profile up there, quote unquote, like a living, breathing resume that just, you know, continues to grow. You can make connections with individuals. You can search for jobs. You can get information about other, like it said, like-minded folks or industries that you're interested in, and learn about what they're doing in their companies or organizations or in their lives, right? So when you follow these company pages or organizations, it'll just keep you up to date. You become a part of their group member profiles, and you might potentially discover new industries and new ways to share your expertise in different discussions and things like that. So let's just dive right into it. LinkedIn is a one-stop shop, pretty much what I was trying to get out there. So your interactive resume is like your profile, right? It's something like when you're applying to a job, you always have to tailor your resume to that job, because you don't want to, some of you might have extensive experience, extensive education, and your resume is probably like 4+ pages long, maybe. And a recruiter doesn't want to read a 4+ page long resume. They want to read about a 1-page, preferably. Sometimes you can get away with 2, but I highly recommend 1. We've heard from a lot of recruiters that they prefer 1, and they want it to be like quick for them to read. They don't have to dive into it to find out why you're the right candidate for the position you're applying for. You need to just make it really clear for them, right? But having your LinkedIn on your resume can also show all of your information. You don't have to tailor your LinkedIn, right? Your LinkedIn can have your very first job on it if that's what you desire, you know, and it just builds up from there. They can see all the different things that you're doing based on this one sheet of paper. You can give all the great things for this job that you're applying to, but having your LinkedIn URL on there will really promote the employer to click it, and they will go and check it out and see all the great things that you do and have done. I always advise don't put your LinkedIn on there if you're not ready to share your LinkedIn, because 9 times out of 10, when you put it on your resume, employers are going to click on it. And I don't know about you guys if you've ever served on hiring committees or things like that, but I think sometimes the first thing people do is sometimes Google someone or look some things up. And that's one of the reasons I say be mindful about your personal and professional way of using social media. And then also, if you're using a LinkedIn, make sure that it's where you want it to be, where you want people to see it. You can explore different career paths, connect with professionals, apply for jobs. It's just a great tool. They even have resume interview resources now on LinkedIn as well. So the features are just continuing to grow. They also have LinkedIn Learning. I don't know if any of you have heard of LinkedIn Learning, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. And we're actually going to see a video of it right now. But LinkedIn Learning is an extension of LinkedIn, and it has like over 13,000 courses. And I'm going to play this video because they can describe it a little better than I can. But it's really supplemental to your learning in school already. It's more like a professional development tool, but really, really useful. So I'm just going to play the video so you guys can see it.
The practice of job searching hasn't changed much. Networking, referrals, demonstrating skills, and so forth. But the way we do it has. Today, it can all happen in one place, and that's LinkedIn. It connects the world's professionals and creates economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. And LinkedIn Learning combines our high-quality, expert-led learning content with this LinkedIn data to make those professionals more successful.
I've been working in higher education for over 10 years, and I've never seen a tool that provides what LinkedIn Learning can. It reveals in-demand skills using data, AI, and machine learning. We're able to deliver relevant, customized micro-learning content that prepares learners for the future. It's a strategic complement to an institution's curricula.
LinkedIn becomes a hub for students, alumni, faculty, and staff. They can learn, connect, engage, and strengthen their professional brand.
All of us were students once too, which is why we're so passionate about student success. We want to see them advancing their skills and building their professional brand. Employers are going online to find new talent. Students need to create an online presence early to give them a competitive advantage. So let's take a look and see how this works.
First, a student creates a profile. It can be a great place to interact with peers and professors.
Throughout her education, LinkedIn Learning supplements classroom learning, and online course recommendations help her continuously develop micro skills on her own.
She posts course completions and class projects to her LinkedIn profile. It becomes an online portfolio to showcase her academic career.
Her network grows as she interacts with the broader community, engages with thought leaders, and comments on posts and articles.
As graduation approaches and she finds a field of interest, alumni connections help her with internship and job opportunities in that field.
The learning, insights, and connections empower her to enter the workforce.
As your students and staff interact with the LinkedIn ecosystem, we provide student outcome data that perfectly complements your institution's own internal data. It's a mutually beneficial opportunity. Looking at both data sets together, we're able to close skills gaps, enhance outcomes, and foster lifelong learning. Ultimately, differentiating your institution for current and future students.
Together, we're able to invest in the growth and development of individuals, to empower students to build their professional brand and prepare them for the careers of tomorrow.
To help faculty, staff, and alumni elevate their careers.
We're here to partner with you. Let's guide lifelong learners to be more productive and successful in the global workforce.
All right. So that just gave a little bit of understanding about, how LinkedIn Learning came about, how our institutions are using them. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can gain access to this tool paid for by our division, Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Development. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move along through the presentation. So this was in that resources that I dropped in earlier. I'm going to drop it in one more time because we had someone join, so it might not be in there. But this is in one of the resources that is available there. So I think I mentioned the building your LinkedIn profile to kind of support you if you don't have one already, or if you do have one and you just really want to vamp it up. This is just like a scratch the surface type of worksheet. There are many, many different things you can do to your profile. So if you want to do more, like you've done all of these steps on here and you want to do more, we do have additional checklists that you can go through to like really, utilize your profile in a way that's really getting you noticed by recruiters and others on LinkedIn. And or if you just, want to continue to expand it and build it or learn a little bit more about it. So these are just some facts about, throwing some numbers out there about LinkedIn itself as a whole. I mean, it's typically over $3 million, probably makes a lot of money, but 3 million jobs posted each month, new and current, from companies directly from their sites. You even have opportunity to apply directly through LinkedIn if you wanted to, like upload all of your resources and documents, or they can even just, utilize showing your portfolio. So there are ways to do that. We usually recommend clicking directly to the site and applying through there if possible, but some of the organizations do use the LinkedIn apply, so that sometimes that's the only option. And there was a study too that found that 122 million people received an interview through LinkedIn. So utilizing LinkedIn and getting reached out to by recruiters on LinkedIn. And about 35.5 million have been getting hired. And I believe this data is maybe from like a couple years ago. So it's probably just continuing to increase and increase and increase over time, because before, I know the numbers were a lot less. Like when I think about the courses on LinkedIn Learning as well, they started out with like over 5,000. Now they're like at over 13,000. So it's just something that's going to continue to expand. And recruiters are using it consistently. 87% of recruiters are using this platform. We've had a lot of professionals in the industry come and reach out to us and tell us their stories about how someone reached out to them on LinkedIn and now they're doing their dream job, right? What they wanted. Like recruiter, you can make your profile public to recruiters, let them know you're open to hire. They come across your page, they're like, hey, I'd love to set up a time to talk to you. I reviewed your profile. It sounds really interesting. Are you interested in this particular position that we have right now? So those are actual opportunities that can happen in utilizing LinkedIn. And we're just going to talk about a few more things that kind of have been mentioned, but just to reiterate, like we said, 87% of recruiters are actively using that. And currently they say 93% of recruiters have used research to find and recruit candidates on LinkedIn. So gaining exposure to hiring managers and recruiters is a great way, like I mentioned, to utilize LinkedIn. And putting yourself out there especially if you're looking for work or to make connections on LinkedIn, will really get you noticed, because simply putting your name into a search engine like Google or anything like that, and an individual puts in your name and you have a LinkedIn, usually it's the first thing that pops up as well too. So that's something pretty interesting to think about. And then another reason you would want to get LinkedIn is to demonstrate your knowledge, credibility, and leadership. So again, using your LinkedIn profile can help you build trust with connections and employers and recruiters. They can see recommendations you have. So your profile is not only you talking about yourself, but you can make connections with individuals who have LinkedIn profiles as well. Maybe you've worked with them in the past, or you've been to school with them, and you can literally write recommendations about each other, meaning like I have a couple recommendations from some of my colleagues who have worked with me, sharing their experiences. So it really comes full circle, the profile, right? And you can even list your skills on there. And then when you do LinkedIn Learning courses and you complete them, you also gain skills from LinkedIn. So you can list your own skills, but then when you complete these courses, or even your colleagues can endorse you on those skills and say, yes, curriculum building is something I know that Alexa has done, and I'm gonna, vouch for her and validate that's an active skill that she has, right? So people can actually do that for you on LinkedIn, which is pretty cool. And not validate, endorse you. There you go. So they can endorse you, saying like, I know for a fact that this person has this particular skill, right? And so it's really powerful in the way that you make connections and show yourself. And like I said, put yourself out there, branding yourself, marketing yourself in a professional setting online. Another reason is it's a great research tool. So if you're looking to research about companies, if you're looking to research about interviewers, recruiters, hiring managers, there's a bunch of information up there on there about that. It's not only just for jobs, like you can see articles on there, what's really trending in workforce development. You can get specific to the industry that you are in. So if you guys are all psych majors and you want to know what's going on in psych, you can definitely type that into the search engine bar on LinkedIn, and multiple things will come up. It'll come jobs, it'll come articles, it'll come organizations, people. So, it gives you a multitude of different avenues that you can use LinkedIn to research about psychology. And not even just the industry itself, but like what recruiters are doing, what they're looking for, what jobs they're looking for, what skills are they looking for. So it's really a broad tool that you can use to really dive deeper, I should say, into whatever your industry is. So for example, psychology would be something that I'm sure many of you would want to know more and utilize it in that aspect. Another great reason to use it is LinkedIn has a great job board. I mentioned before, it posts over 3 million jobs each day. And it's international. They have remote, they have all types of opportunities, right? And recruiters are using them majorly, and almost any company you can think of is definitely going to have their job posted on LinkedIn. A lot of them have them on other search engines as well, like Monster and Indeed and things like that as well. And we're not suggesting that you don't utilize those search engines as well. If you're looking for work, it's definitely good to have multiple. But again, LinkedIn is a special tool because it's not just for job searching, right? It goes beyond that. It goes you putting yourself, your profile, making those connections, gaining that information, utilizing the features on there. So it really is a great tool for you to utilize. And it's not just a job board, but it does have an amazing job board selection. And you can even create alerts so that every time, like say, for example, you are looking to do case management in a certain company that you're interested in, you can list the company, you can list the position, you can list pay, you can list whatever you want. You can keep it broad or you can get it very specific. You can make as many as you like. And what it does, it'll ask you like, how often do you want to receive these notifications? So if you're like daily, each time that new jobs are posted in that similar or precisely to what you're, putting in the criteria, it will send it to you immediately. It will email you and let you know, and you could pick either they can email you or it can just go to your LinkedIn profile. But either way, it's giving you that notification. So it kind of makes the job search a little bit easier as well. You can also join groups and be in the know. So just being in the know of other professionals that you're interested in and following, other industries. Like I mentioned, there isn't a psych association, I want to say of America, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the title because I think it's APA, but there are a lot of different organizations out there. That's just the one that pops into my mind because it's a pretty well-known one that I've seen before, like when I do some research on psych and what's trending in psych and things like that. It's one of the resources that I use. It's one of the larger ones. And ideally, you can all of these organizations, again, have pages and you can join their pages. Some are private and some will ask you specific questions like why you want to join this group or what interests you about this group and what other, and they could, maybe ask 4 or 5 questions about your interests and your goals and your intentions with joining this group. Some of them you could just follow their page and see what's going on. So it's really just an opportunity for you to connect again with individuals, professionals, the industry itself, to just be in the know of what's going on and looking at different topics that are coming up and maybe asking questions or contributing yourself in discussions that are going on. And you can follow as many fantastic companies as you want to on other social media sites, like, you would have ads and things popping up and versus this is a much more professional setting. So you don't have to I'm not saying there aren't ads here and there, but most of it that you follow those companies is to get the information that you're looking for. LinkedIn is really just a brilliant tool, again, for researching researching organizations and the people that work at them. So when you follow companies, you see what they're doing. Like if you do have ideal companies you want to work for that you're just really for those companies, you think that they're doing great services and providing wonderful products within the communities and things like that, you can follow those organizations and see what's going on with them full circle. The people who are working there can connect with people there as well. I always say when you're connecting with people that you don't know, though, that you do leave a note. It does give you the option. And you do want to let people know why you want to connect. Like maybe you're inspired by the work that they do. Maybe you're interested in knowing more about what they do. And don't be discouraged if people don't accept your connection, because sometimes, a lot of these people are public figures and have millions of requests, I'm sure, a day. So and if you're really interested in following someone, you can also just follow them, and whatever they choose to put on their page publicly, you could still see that and see what they're doing in their work professionally. So just know that those options are out there, right? There's many people that I follow who are just amazing individuals that, of course, I've requested to connect with them, but understand that they lead very busy lives and who knows how often they check it or, how many connections they have to go through a day. But still, I follow them because I'm interested in the work that they do. And really, once you get on LinkedIn and you start learning about all the different features and utilizing them to better support you and to better promote you, you can just start flexing your networking muscle. The sooner you start practicing these networking and building your LinkedIn account, the sooner you'll master it. And it does take time to hone, and it can be awkward at first. Like I mentioned, you want to be mindful about how you reach out to people and why you're reaching out to people, why you want to connect and what you're interested in their industry. Tell them, a little bit about you so that they do want to connect with you too. Because again, it is a social media site, and it doesn't mean that they don't, and it's a professional one, but it doesn't mean that they don't have like what they call trolls and people who are just not using it the way that it's meant to be used. So always be mindful of those things too. But at its core, it's just like really any other social media that you'd use to connect with people, and starting your LinkedIn account now will help you keep track of people that you meet along your educational and professional journey, because majority of people do have a LinkedIn account. So it's a great way to stay connected with individuals as well. So I'm going to play one more video that's just going to, again, highlight a little bit more about LinkedIn and how to use the feature on LinkedIn Learning, how to use the feature on LinkedIn. So we talked a little bit about LinkedIn Learning earlier, which is that tool that you can use in addition to professional development. There's different courses and short videos and learning paths that you can utilize, which typically costs money to do. Like you have to pay for a premium membership on LinkedIn, but our division has paid memberships for you all to utilize as students here at Skyline, and I'll give you the information for that too. This video is pretty short, about 2 minutes.
With a LinkedIn Premium subscription, you also get access to the LinkedIn Learning Library and its thousands of courses. In order to access LinkedIn Learning from your LinkedIn account, click on the Learning icon up at the top right. If you don't see this icon here, you may have to select the Work icon and then select it from here. In this case, I'll click on the Learning icon, and this brings me to my LinkedIn Learning homepage. You can also get here by navigating to the URL linkedin.com/learning. Once inside of LinkedIn Learning, you have access to their enormous library of over 10,000 high-quality courses taught by industry experts. On this homepage, there are some valuable features. Use the weekly goals to set learning goals and improve your engagement. You also have access to courses that you have in progress or ones you've saved. Down below, you'll see the top picks and recommended courses. These are specific to you based on your profile and can be a great way to discover new content. To search the entire library, you can click the Browse tab up at the top left. From here, I can see the different libraries that are available. You can select one of the subcategories, and this brings you to a page where you can then filter to find the content you want. I can click on courses, the different level, and so on. You can also search for specific topics by using the search bar. Let's say I wanted to find a course on Microsoft Excel. I'll type in Microsoft Excel. And again, this brings me to a page where I can now filter this down and find the specific course that I want to find. If I click on a course, here I have the ability to watch it. I can also see the table of contents as well as other information about the course and its author. Another benefit is that when you complete a course on LinkedIn Learning, you'll receive a certificate of completion, which you can easily share on your LinkedIn profile to show that you're learning new skills. In order to do this at the end of this course, I'll click Add to LinkedIn Profile. You can determine how you want that to appear and click Add to Profile. LinkedIn Learning is a great way to continue your professional development, learn new skills, and showcase your accomplishments.
All right. So again, LinkedIn Learning is just a really amazing tool that we want to share with all of our students here at Skyline because we understand that it is a paid subscription, but again, we have paid subscriptions for you through our division. So if this is something you are interested in, what I'm going to do right now, and if you have any questions, again, use the chat, feel free to unmute, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. But in the chat right now, I'm going to drop a form link. If you are interested, to just fill out the form and we can send you an activation. Now, you do have to have a LinkedIn in order to access LinkedIn Learning. So if you don't have one, it's going to prompt you to create an account. And that doesn't mean that you have to start filling in your account and doing all that, like building your profile. It literally is just going to have to set up an account for you in order to access the LinkedIn Learning. If you want to leave your account blank and have people not find you or whatever, you can do that. You could just, not share your LinkedIn profile, but it will prompt you if you don't have one already. But again, if you need support in building your profile, we would love to help you do that. We do have a photographer on our team who does photos for free, professional headshots, because we encourage you to have pictures on your LinkedIn of yourself, like in the little profile bubble. It gets more noticed that way, and we want it to be a professional headshot, so like not half your face or like a selfie. It suffice for now, but utilize these opportunities that are available to you if you can and if you are interested. And definitely like not a picture of your dog or your cat or anything like that. It has to definitely be you, right? Because you're highlighting your profile and marketing yourself. If you do decide to fill out the form, you'll get an email like this. It'll look just like this coming from the Career Readiness and Job Placement. You'll simply click activate your account and it'll either prompt you to sign into your LinkedIn or it will prompt you to create a LinkedIn if you don't have one. And then that brings me to the end of my presentation on why you would want to utilize LinkedIn, the resources you can get from LinkedIn and from our division and our team as far as utilizing LinkedIn Learning. Again, it's a really, really great tool. I highly recommend that you take advantage of it because, again, this is something that individuals pay for annually to utilize. And again, for our students here, we have paid subscriptions for you. And before you all go, I'm going to drop another link, and I would really, 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 really appreciate it if you would click the link, open the form, and fill it out. It's a really brief survey, just a little bit of feedback about our presentation. It could be totally anonymous if you want to, or you can put your name. It's whatever you prefer, just to hear a little bit more about your thoughts, what we could do better in our presentations, what maybe you wanted to hear more about in LinkedIn. And you can put anything you like, but if you could just please take a few minutes to just fill that out and let us know how we're doing and what we can do better. And ultimately, does anybody have any questions? Oh, so just connect our office. That's a great question, Brianna. She's asking how can we get access to the photographer for the pictures? And this last and final slide is our contact information. So feel free to contact us here, or I'm also going to put my email in the chat. If you want to contact me directly, I can also connect you. We are a small group, and I'm assuming you guys are all society and education meta majors. So typically you'll get filtered to me anyways, but our photographer helps any and everybody. And just so you guys know, like if you have friends or family in the community, this service is not only for students at Skyline, but we do support the individuals in the surrounding community as well. So, you know, feel free to share with your family and friends about the services in the career readiness and job placement team at Skyline College. And so you can definitely check out our website here as well. If you're interested, I'll drop the Sky Careers email in there if you're interested. And that's our main office. But like I said, you guys can email me directly. I'll get you connected with them so you guys can like find a time that works for both of you, because she's not on site every day. So you guys will come up with a plan, a time that works for you both to do the headshots. And thank you all. Just thank you all so much for coming. I hope you did and were able to gain something from it. Not just your extra credit, but you will get that, which I'm happy for you too. But I hope also that you got something out of this that will maybe benefit you academically or professionally or personally. So, thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Very
Alexa.
good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all coming so much. So have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.